What happens? How you guys doing? This is what happens when your landing gear or your truck does not turn as sharp as it should. Like I got a dime right here and a penny right here. Okay, this is what it was over there with the truck. So if your truck, even though your tire, your rear tractor tire is going to meet with your landing gear, you'll go back further if your truck does not turn sharp enough. Like, okay, this is like a regular turn. Okay, when you're parallel parking. Let's see, put the coins here. Something like that. Now this is like a regular turn. Like this. When you're right there. You see this short distance here and here? And then you're back in your truck. Let's see, put the coins up there. Just to show the distance. Then you're straightening your truck up. Now, in reference to it not turning correctly, when you're turning the steering wheel, if it's got a steering problem, like the truck over at C1 has, and I've had that truck 4 times, it was probably 5 times, but the first test, it got messed up on the pre-trip, the 4-point brake check. So anyways, back on this point. Yeah, you'll back up, and it may not be as sharp, but your trailer will be 8 to 10 feet further back. Like, see how the turn is there? And you're way back, and your trailer will be way back here, and you'll, after you straighten it out, you'll be like, what the hell's going on? You get out and you look. You're like, what's going on with this? What the hell? What's going on here? What the hell's going on? Then you get back in your truck. Then you'll be like thinking, shit, what's going on? Because it doesn't turn as sharp. So then you'll be snaking it up this way and that way. And then you'll be, trying to get it in there and you get another angle. Then you're too deep. Then you try to turn it. You think, oh, that's going good. But then your tractor still does not turn as sharp. You're still outside the box. Then you try to snake it up again. Then you're like, what the hell's going on? Especially if the mirrors are messing up too. You'd be like, what the hell? Then you try to back it up again. You're like, shit, back in the same spot almost. That's messed up. Because it's still not turning sharp enough to change the angle of which you're trying to get your truck in the parking spot. In the parallel parking. But again, like I said, if it doesn't turn right or sharp enough, when you look in your mirror and you're looking for your landing gear, if it doesn't turn sharp enough, you'll be back here like this, outside the box. So then if you have a regular, proper steering of a tractor, you'll get that real sharp, close, and see the distance here. Again, if it doesn't steer right, once you turn your truck, get to that landing gear, you're like this. Now you see the distance? That's like 8 to 10 feet difference. Then you try to straighten it out and back it up, and you're like, shit, still outside the box. And you pull it up again. You're like, what the hell's going on? It's just crazy. Because, why would they have a test vehicle that has bad fucking steering for the state of Indiana's testing? That just don't make no sense, does it? Like people setting you up for failure in the first place. Or booby trapping something. So anyways, again, when you do your first turn away from the box and you're getting your truck back there and you got your landing gear right there, you're like, oh, okay, that looks right. But then, even when you're struggling with the steering wheel or you're getting this is with like regular steering, you get it right. You're like, oh, okay, this is getting back there, and then straighten it up, and then, oh, shit, yeah, that looks right. Oh, yeah, see, look. Then you're like, you got it right, there. But, like I said before, if you don't get that, this is like a regular turn right here. You're like right like that. See the short distance? when you got that sharper turn on your truck where it really turns and functions correctly in the steering. If it doesn't, your truck's going to be way back here. You're going to be way out here in no man's land. And you straighten it up and you're like, holy shit, it's in the wrong spot. And this is the state of Indiana's CDL testing site. And this is the vehicle is just absurd. You know what I mean? The fact of the steering when I was using it. And don't forget, one of the trucks blew up on me. Like the one I got it in there at parallel parked, but it blew up and, started smoking and everything. And that was one day. And then on the other day, like say for instance, the same day of that, they got another truck. They brought another truck over. And say this is the traffic light, and this is like the drive for the C1 facility. So I got up here and like we'll say this is. Let me see. Say right here is the median where I was driving. Fourth gear, got it into fifth gear, still going appropriate speed. Got up here and then turned, and then it stalled right there. Half the truck was still in the driveway of the training facility. Didn't even get out of the training facility. Still had the green light, and the truck stalled there. And then but I was turning, and I didn't hit the median, but the truck stalled, and I turned it on. Had it turned on in like less than 3 seconds. And it still had the green light, so I didn't impede traffic, and there was no cars behind me either. So it was like, then it failed on that one. But that was the same day that when I parallel parked the truck that blew up. And that's probably, they had fixed it, and I guess that was the same truck I was using the other times too. So they kept making me use this one vehicle that obviously had a very bad steering problem for my state CDL test. Like they were giving me this shitty truck every fucking time, or every time that I had to take my CDL test, that had bad steering every single time. And I even told, the director of C1, I even told the inspector at the state, I said, hey, this steering's messed up or something. But, either way, that's just one of the points, and, that's very unfair that this was going on when these people doing this, people doing this to me. Very unfair. And it should be in court cases too. So, in reference to what I was telling you, in reference to when you're back in the truck and it only goes, if the steering doesn't go as far, your trailer's going to end up a lot farther back. If it's got and you're going to be way out there in the boondocks, when you're trying to back it up. If it only goes like this, your trailer's going to be way back here. Then you're going to be trying to line it up, when you get back. You'll still see the landing gear, but you won't, you might realize it too, but when you're trying to turn it, you'll see the landing gear, but you'll be 8 to 10 feet further back. And you only have like a 15-foot margin, you know what I mean? So then trying to back it up and straighten it up, and then you're like, oh, okay, well, wait. And the dotted line's like right over here or something, where it's in between here and here. It's like in the middle of your trailer. So then you got to try to snake it back like this. And you're, trying to back a 53-foot trailer, where you're only getting like these small percentage turns in there. And then you're going to get way out there. Then you get too deep. Because you tried to overcompensate on the turn, because the initial turn was not sharp enough. Which, you go back like, 5, 6 feet, whatever it might be, and you see your landing gear. Then you straighten it out. But according to the way that truck was, you'll be backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up, backing up. And then you'll get to where your landing gear is. And you'll be way out here in this part because the truck swings out so far because you got such a small turn in there. So, it's like, look at that like that. Then a sharp turn like this. And then you got your landing gear. So in reference to a truck having bad steering, you got a small turn in there, you're going to be way back here when your trailer gets in there. And do it again. Sharp turn, you'll be like right in there, You'll be right there close to your dotted line, straighten it out. That kind of thing. Steering problem with a tractor, you'll be going like this. And that's what was happening. And then the mirrors, when it's got small turns, the truck will go like this. You'll be like, and you'll be trying to go left and right, and you only get these small gains, and when you're trying to, and you'll point out. And that's what happens. And the steering's messed up on the truck. That's what happened to me. It kept, when you're sitting there trying to get that trailer in there, and the steering's not sharp enough, you got to try to steer harder. They messed with my mouth. You got to try to steer harder, but then it's not going the distance. It's not going the distance when you're trying to go over. So then you're gonna point out every time you got this and this and this and this. When you're sitting there trying to go this way, this way, this way, this way, you're trying to move the trailer, but the trailer's only moving, a couple feet to the left or to the right. When you're needing it to move, more distance than that. And that's what's going on, and that's how you point out in the Indiana State CDL test. If you got some shitty truck with some shitty steering, well, it's mainly the steering, you're going to point out because it won't turn right. That's what happened. I mean, some people might get it in there. I got it in there before, but it was, it was fighting it, just to get it in the parallel box, and then the truck blew up. They should have it on all their surveillance video. And, in reference to their surveillance video, let me see. Turn this camera on. Anyways, reference to their surveillance video of me in the practice field on the range, they should have that and submit that into court too, to show on the range in the C1 practice area where I would do it with not any points. But if the steering's messed up, I point it out like, too many points, just trying to get that trailer in the box. And, because it had small gains, like it would just, like you'll turn it, you'll just come like this. Your trailer just moves over 1 or 2 feet. But when you're needing it to move 5 feet this way or 4 feet or whatever. And that's unfair that they did this to me on every test. And it needs to be submitted into court in reference to the Indiana State CDL testing site and the disrespect of them failing me with the fact of their the test vehicle that was used for the test had shitty steering, and that's documented. You can show all the surveillance video when I drove the truck, when I did the 5 exercises the one morning, and then the next day was the day I had my test, and I did 4. Both sides, or maybe 5 too. Might have did a straight backing on that day, but pretty much it was, parallel right and offset right and But, that it was an offset right and then a parallel right, and then was an offset left and a parallel left. You can check the surveillance video. Submit it into court. It needs to be submitted into court. Maybe the Supreme Court needs to order the surveillance video when I would do the parallel and offset, or backing, offset, and parallel, however you want to listen to it, that particular point. But I did it with no points. Didn't get points on it at all. And then, knowing that there's, you can get points, so maybe that go ahead 1 point and pulling up and getting it, whatever, perfectly in a line where you want it, 1 point's no big deal, 5, however many points without failing, But in reference to pointing out, meaning like getting too many points and failing the test, there was something wrong with the steering. And that needs to be submitted into court, and it's unjustified that they failed me on my CDL because of the bad steering of the truck. It's no bullshit. People have always been trying to play tricks on me since my parents got murdered by the government, and the government tried to steal my mother and father's estates. They're trying to steal billions, and they got all their little tricks and their games of their people. Well, anybody ask a politician, man, who they think my parents are. Every governor and mayor needs to sign a paper saying who they think my parents are. Because every city and state has records of my identity and who my biological parents are. Very important information.